so much. Oh, okay, that's staying in there. Okay. Well, thanks for spending your Friday night with us. I told my mom I was doing this show, and she asked, "Oh, will there be men there?" And it's not just about things like this. Like, I just started a new job not too long ago, and she said, "Oh, will there be men there?" Of course, what she's really asking about is what's going on with my dating life, when am I going to get married, and somehow, will there be men there? If the answer is yes, that's the only barrier. But no, it is more complicated than that. I think, as Danny was just saying. I mean, if it wasn't, dating apps would not be their own separate industry now. I would know. I'm on 3 of them at present. And I love when I tell people that sometimes, and there's someone who says, "Oh, did it work?" Like, no, Janet, that's why I'm still on that. But I actually recently added Hinge to my repertoire. Not a lot of love for Hinge. And I actually did it because I read that Pete Buttigieg met his husband on there. So I thought, okay. Yeah. I like Mayor Pete a lot. That would be in DC. That would get my attention. I'm a big fan. I've been really into his campaign, very drawn to what he's been putting out there. And it occurred to me recently that none of it is political. I'm drawn to him because he is exactly my type. My type. Sort of lanky, dark hair, kind of affable, endearing nerd who's 100% unavailable to me. That is my type right there. Oh, man. How you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah? How'd you get here tonight?
Vehicle.
I was hoping, that's great.
Not the Metro.
Not the Metro, okay. I was hoping you would say like Uber or Lyft, because that would be a great segue for me. Did you drive?
We got here by Uber.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's so great. Okay, so I didn't have to tell you that. Note to self. Yeah, I use rideshare apps as well. I'm a fan. I like the rating system where you rate at the end of your experience. It's usually, they're all different, but it's usually like on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, and then of course there's an average. And I think that could be applied to dating apps. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be, because with the rideshare apps, you see someone that's coming and they're maybe a 4.9, and you think I'm in good hands. But maybe you see something that's more like 4.5, and maybe you suddenly feel like walking. And with the date, if you see a 4.9, maybe you're in good hands. If you see a 4.5, maybe you feel like walking. And it doesn't end there. On the rideshare apps, they have different categories that you can be rating on, like pickup, and quality of conversation, navigation expertise. And you don't even have to change those categories over to dating apps. You can also rate people on pickup, quality of conversation, navigation expertise. Right? Yeah. I'm not looking for anything that I think is that difficult. I really just want a guy who wants to communicate with me half as often as CVS does when they have filled my prescription. That's really it. So much of the early stages of dating is about sharing who we are, what our interests are, what we're passionate about. And I never know the exact right time to tell a guy that I have seen every episode of Law & Order. Some more than once. Just SVU though, because I have a life. I love Law & Order, but it has left me with a very specific fear, which is that I will go missing. That's not the end. My fear is that I will go missing and the detectives will judge me based on the contents of my purse, which has invariably been strewn about, hopefully indicating that I put up some sort of a fight before I disappeared. And so sometimes when I'm, leaving in the morning, putting things in and out of my bag, I start to sort of visualize the characters, the detectives from Law & Order. First, they look at my phone wallpaper. They see it's a motivational quote, so they conclude accurately that I am single. That down. Then they start to see all the receipts. They are all from CVS. They are all for People magazine. So they conclude that nobody is looking for me. Sometimes I think I should carry around a few old birthday cards that I've received from family and friends just for this. That occurred to me actually when I was in my therapist's office. And I see a therapist. Yeah, look at that. Look how evolved. It's funny. I was born in Los Angeles. I have a lot of family roots there, but I was actually raised in Pennsylvania, and I've always thought that I then really have kind of a mix of West Coast and East Coast sensibilities as a result. For example, I'm very West Coast in that I see a therapist, I'm very pro-therapy, I think it's very useful, but I'm very East Coast in the sense that I did not want anyone to know. Sometimes I'll say something in a session and my therapist will look at me and say, Elizabeth, was that a joke? And I've never done this, but I've always wanted to say, that depends. Would it kill at the Improv? Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the show.